North Sydney taking the field against St George in front of a small crowd. This is the North Sydney side. Sears, Dallas, Icon, Butner, Roy, Hall, Taylor, Stewart, Soden, Trindle, Larson, Fairley, Moore, and coached by Peter Louis. Rain persisting in Sydney. Mark Coyne takes St George out. Beaten last weekend, but they've certainly given notice that they're here with a great chance in 1996. Quinn, Walford, Coyne, Smith, Donnelly, Mundine, Goldthorpe, Ward, Bartram, Stone, Thompson, Barnhill, Hardy, and David Wade is the coach. There will be a minute's silence before the kick-off, I'm led to believe. Again, as a mark of respect for those departed and the relatives and friends left behind following the Port Arthur massacre. Mark Oaten is the man in charge of this match, and it probably won't be an easy one given the conditions of the ground. St George then, they start. They're running right to left, and North Sydney bring it back through one of their great warriors, Gary Larson. This is Josh Stewart. North Sydney currently equals second in the Optus Cup. They've only suffered the one loss. St George 2 points behind them, so a chance for the Dragons to elevate themselves into the top 8.
Although North Sydney do come into this game with something of an advantage, just the one player backing up from City Country, that's David Fairley, of course. While St George, 3 representatives, Barnhill, Mundine and Troy Stone, all competed on Friday night. You would expect the Bears to be a touch fresher.
St George then, their first touch of the ball. And that is Jason Donnelly. With Noel Goldthorpe wearing the 7, and that is Colin Ward, one of the young St George forwards. Thompson, red-headed second rower. Following a big night on Friday, young Troy Stone will certainly earn his rest come the end of this weekend. Saints then clearing it from their own 40-metre area and watching it across the sideline. First scrum of the game will go down some 28 metres out from North line. North Sydney coming away with this scrum victory. And then it was Ben Icon who was put over. As North's come out along the line, the remainder of it 35 metres out from their own uprights at the moment, as David Fairley makes a run that takes them within 5 metres of halfway.
And Ben Icon moving into 5'8" from that scrum win. David Hall has been named there, of course, normally a winger, but with Greg Florimo out with a broken hand. Short ball here to Billy Moore's a good one, takes him 39 out on the last tackle. We see David Hall going into the pivot role.
Josh Stewart's kick going over the dead ball line, watched carefully by Ricky Walford, and back now to the 20-metre line for the restart. breeze coming diagonally across the ground in favour of North's, I fancy, in the first half. This is David Barnhill, 25 metres out from his own line. Now with Hardy, and Ward has reached the 30-metre line for the Dragons. That's Troy Stone, centralising play, almost to the 40-metre line. Bartram it is with the ball. A couple of metres on his own side. And the rebound, it's a chance for the Bears. It's going to be more than a chance. Well, Lady Luck has smiled on them, and Ben Ikin gets the try. It came off Nigel Roy. There was no knock on. And North Sydney have come up with the try. And a touch of luck for the Bears, but you take any that you can get. The kick straight into the North Sydney player. No problems with that man onside. He drew Chris Quinn nicely and gave Ben Ikin a very simple run to the line. Mundine coming across in cover. Straight away, Noel Goldthorpe putting the grubber kick through. Cleaned up by Nigel Roy. And then it was just a simple task of drawing the fullback, which he did nicely. And the ball out in front of Ben Ikin. A little bit of a juggle. And Ikin raced 40 metres to score the first points in this game. You won't get too many easier ones than that, the former Gold Coast centre. Jason Taylor with a fairly simple attempt at goal, but in these conditions you never can tell, even with the very good goal kickers. Jason converts. North Sydney leading St George 6-0, early days.
Conversion successful for the Citibank Bears by the captain, number 7, Jason Taylor. Jason Taylor sponsored by the Foul Factory. The Citibank Bears 6, St George 0.
So a very lucky start for North Sydney. Got to be there though when Lady Luck is smiling. And that's exactly what they did. David Fairley now on his own end of the park. They take it across the 30-metre line through Billy Moore. Both he and Gary Larson, of course, seem certainties for the Queensland State of Origin side. Quinn now going back. Very fleet-footed winger for St George. The greasiness of the ground didn't help him. A three-man tackle from the Bears, including Mark Soden, who was the kicker of the football, so all of the chasers were onside. And that again just illustrates the advantage of having a dummy half who can kick the football. Despite the fact that David Hall was named at 5'8" in this side, I think you'll find that Michael Buettner has actually slotted in 5'8" role, pushing Hall out into the centres. Here's Jeff Hardy now. One of the players upon whom St George will be looking. Ooh, gee, that tackle's got to bring a penalty. It's David Fairley around the neck. They'll be looking to blokes like Hardy now just to settle the ship. Emphasise that it's very early times, and David Fairley brings a penalty with that high tackle on Lance Thompson. Of course, David Fairley again will be looking for a strong performance, as has been all his games this year, especially in the City Country game on Friday night, just to further push his chances of a back row spot for New South Wales. He really is in good form at the moment, and that's one of the reasons that North Sydney are travelling so well early this season. St George finding the line, 10 metres short of halfway. That is Ward, and they take it now in the North area with Stone. Good metres made by two of the forwards, and now they prepare to swing it wide for a forward out there in David Barnhill, who also worked very hard in the heavy conditions on Friday. Bartram, who often lives out in the back line as Mundine looks to unload. Donnelly takes it infield. Donnelly, big and strong, tries to power through. Just inside the 20-metre line. A spread of the ball to the right off the boot by Goldthorpe. They're all onside the Dragons. Batted ahead by them. And back to the 20-metre line for the restart by the Bears.
It looked initially as though the kick was going to be too far, and I think that's what Mark Coyne thought. In the end, he just got a hand out, knocked the ball on.
This is Fairley. Talking of David Fairley, he made something like 37 tackles and 16 hit-ups on Friday night. It's a very big personal tally for him. This is Michael Butner. Larson. Soden. Butner's in pursuit. Quinn is back there in his own in goal. Back into the field of play. And facing up to him was David Hall.
And they are perfect wet weather tactics. Dummy half kicking the football, a good chasing team. 2 tackles now against St George, and they're only 10 metres from their own line. And in these conditions, it's all about field position, and so far North Sydney have played that very well at the start of this game.
Goldthorpe now. Out wide for Mundine, and Mundine provides for Coyne to give on, and Walford to come outside the 30-metre line. Penalty goes to St George. Against the defence.
Jason Taylor, the man, obviously penalised for holding down too long in the tackle.
Colin Ward. This is Stone. Hardy is the dummy half who provides Bartram, this man, with the opportunity to run as a lock forward. Hardy now with a run of his own. 32 metres out in centre ground. Light rain coming across the ground from top left-hand corner, diagonally of your screen. Coyne. Long pass required, I fancy. He's gone for the boot to get it out there wide quick. And it seemed to come off the fingertips of a St George player.
Yes, that was Adrian Brunker, who's only been on the field for a couple of seconds, replacing Jason Donnelly. Matt Sears here, a quick restart, makes 10 good metres. Obviously, Donnelly worried by some injury. He limped off. And their sole try scorer against Brisbane last week, Brunker, already into the fray.
Now, that red mop of hair belongs to Brett Dallas. Stewart, not a big man, plays very strong, plays well above his weight in that department. Taylor's kick rounded up by Quinn. 15 metres away, now 20 from their line. Brunker felled by Larson, with whom he would have enjoyed State of Origin representation. Adrian Brunker. Hardy trying to get around them. Found a couple of forwards, or at least one. Billy Moore out in the centres. Thompson. 55-37. North's in front on the scoreboard, 6-0, but doing more work in defence than St George.
And the reason for that is the amount of penalties they've given away. A couple of occasions at this end of the field. They've given St George an extra set of 6 or 2. As that kick in behind Brett Dallas sees him take control, 16 out from his own line, showing great speed to get to centre field. A good tackle lay from Lance Thompson.
Sears.
Isn't it good to see Matt Sears back in the game? Broke his arm, of course, in the Sevens competition earlier this year. And now back in his rightful position of fullback for the Bears.
He's one of the crowd pleasers, one of the players that really brings the crowds to see rugby league. Now, Dallas is coming after this quickly. Quinn will be there first. Dallas is offside. And I doubt that he stayed back 10 metres anyway. The referee allowed play to go. Brunker. This is where you have to be very sure of what you're doing. And Mundine, just to show that I was wrong, scoops it up one-handed.
And that chase there from Brett Dallas is an instance where the touch judge really has to come to the fore. Very difficult for the referee to see who's onside, especially a winger out on the fly. It's really where he should be getting a tip from the man on the sideline.
Just not wanting to labour that, Dallas basically put his hand up and said, I am offside, because he stopped the chase, but he stopped about 5 metres away from Quinn. That's why probably a penalty should have been given, but it doesn't matter. North Sydney's Matt Sears has got it completely out of his mind as he makes a spirited run, losing his footing on the cricket pitch area. They keep coming to the right, and Taylor jinks his way forward. David Hall is wearing 16. Steve Trindle is the other front row forward. Now face ball finding David Fairley, and Fairley puts a hand up in the face of young Thompson, gets away. The pass goes to Nigel Roy, and Roy is tackled about 7 metres from the line. They've only got to sweep it back this way. St George might be light out wide, but it's Buettner, he's going to make it! Buettner scores! Oh, Michael Buettner gets the try for the Bears.
And it's his first try of the year for North Sydney. Michael Buettner, the former Parramatta player. It came because of the charge of David Fairley. And as Ray pointed out, St George are in trouble. Players rushing up out of the line. It was Wayne Bartram who missed initially, then Colin Ward, and Michael Buettner able to spin out of the tackle. Wayne Bartram got up a lot quicker than his teammates. He came up with a bad miss. Well, there's no such thing as a good one. That really put pressure on the inside man in Colin Ward, and Buettner with good leg drive, spinning out. You'll see here he goes down early. He's not quite sure where the cover defence is. He's taking no chances, letting the momentum take him over the line.
It's like a relief, isn't it? And of course, their problem started with Lance Thompson's confrontation with David Fairley. The youngster, he got the old Fairley hand right in the face. He tried valiantly, but Fairley kept it alive. Taylor now, and another 2 points. 12-0. The Bears doing it sweetly against St George. And another look at the try with Michael Buettner. As we welcome our Sky viewers in New Zealand. $12-0 then. The Bears with 2 converted tries. The first, oh, Billy Moore. A couple of the North Sydney fans grunted with me. Don't do that to us. Larson. Billy boy. Queenslander. He got it in. Not before a couple of supporters aged a day extra. David Fairley playing strongly in this game. He was one of the prime movers that made the Buettner try possible. I was about to say good fortune smiling. Oh, Quinn. I'm wondering what part of the body that ball came off. He doesn't look as though he's got any problems with the referee ruling.
Well, it appeared to come off the chest, but he is playing at the football, no doubt about it.
I think you've got to say a forearm would have come in contact with it. Yeah.
Whatever it is, it's a clumsy attempt.
It was a shocker. He can be just thankful that the fat man wasn't here. North then, they probably don't need a favour like this. David Hall tries to sprint through. Mundine wraps him up. Sears away for Buettner to go in. Larson turning it back for Sears to support. Barnhill read the play and smothered the little fullback out. Soden now. Quick provide for Taylor to find Fairley. Fairley stands and offloads. Out wide from Stewart. That's a bad pass. They had a chance.
Well, the mistakes from North Sydney have been very few in this game, and Josh Stewart knew that he'd come up with one in a great attacking position, only on the third tackle. David Fairley proving impossible to put to ground so far in this game, and Stewart looking to capitalise out wide, but the pass not finding its mark.
This is Brunker.
St George have made it. Another replacement, 25, is Luke Felch. That's the big man now taking it 28 out.
Reserve grade score here. North Sydney getting home on the bell against St George, 12-10. And under 21s, 14-4 to the Dragons. Hardy. Without a great deal of ceremony. Uploaded by Soden. Quinn kicks ahead. It's a very deep kick. The weight on it is perfect. And it obliged Matt Sears to pick it up. But the young fullback, he submitted quickly. As long as he got back into the field of play, he was happy.
Very good play by both number ones there. Chris Quinn eating up the yards before kicking. Got a great kick down just where he wanted, into the corner. Matt Sears realising he had to go to ground quickly to avoid being taken into touch or the in-goal area.
This is Taylor. Ball fired out for David Hall, and on the end of a strong tackle from Adrian Brunker. And here's that man again, David Fairley, taking three. And of course, if you can get a quick play of the ball after that many players have been consumed, they've got to be light on somewhere else. Quinn is with it now on the bring back. Brunker met and pulled down just outside his own 40-metre line.
It really does sum up Chris Quinn's game, doesn't it? He can do the absolute brilliant, but he can come up with the simplest mistake. Not a great deal of in-between. He has been one of St George's better performers this year, as Phelps on the blind side, taken low by Soden, over the top by Fairley.
There was a St George fullback who did exactly the same many years ago. Lord Ted. Now Stone. And Troy able to get the ball away. Quinn is there again. Turns it back. Support from Mundine. On now for Thompson. Thompson's inside the 10. He's 5 metres out. Straining to make the line. 5 gone. Quick spread required. Bartram back to Felch. Then to Goldthorpe. Goldthorpe rolls it in behind them. And again, Sears is required to clean up.
But that will give some momentum to St George. It's their best passage of play so far. Tremendous keeping the ball alive here. Chris Quinn, the little dummy to Goldthorpe. Found Mundine, who was taken well. Lance Thompson, strong surge here, carrying Billy Moore. So too Sears. And eventually Ben Eichen came in to help. Last kick here at the end from Noel Goldthorpe was a good one because it forced Sears to play at it.
Taylor taking his time with the restart. Look at that drop kick from Taylor. 55 metres point to point. A bit of breeze behind him. Thompson takes it back. Strong effort just a few seconds ago.
Oh, great tackle.
Bartram on the end of a cruncher there from Larson. They go across for Goldthorpe, then for Stone. Stone tramples over one, looks to get rid of it. 15 out from the line, Buettner held on. Saints with a chance. Goldthorpe. Now, that is Felch. 10-metre line. Huddy. Mundine. Thompson. Got it away for Bartram. Now Coy, back for Mundine. Hardy puts it on the ground.
But you get the feeling that St George is starting to warm to their task. But what great defence from North Sydney. Gary Larson, a magnificent tackle. Jeff Hardy, will be careful here he doesn't get penalised. So far, North Sydney doing absolutely everything right in this game.
So here they are, taking it away. Gary Larson. And then it was Mark Soden, and now Brett Dallas, and here's Dallas weaving a passage down the centre. Now Dallas, he's down to the 20-metre line. Oh, heavens above. Brett Dallas, is he fast? Penalty to the Bears.
And I've got to say that that was poor refereeing from Mark Oaten. He should have allowed the advantage to play before penalising. Jason Taylor knew there was a try on. It was about 5-on-2. Jason Taylor was first receiver on the short side, and it had 4 points written all over it, set up by this magnificent individual effort from Brett Dallas. He's beaten 5 and 6 players there before Chris Quinn grasped him. He got a good play the ball in, and Jason Taylor had troops on the far side of that play the ball, and they wanted the ball desperately.
Well, there he is. Just where do you rate him as a winger in the game today? I think he's number 1.
Of course, no need to point out how important this kick is for North Sydney. Put them 14 points clear.
Taylor from right in front, he doesn't mess about with these. 2 further points to the Bears, and it's a comfortable lead. Matt Barnhill coming from the ground as Jason Taylor takes a drink. Just cleaning the mouth out. Bartram starting another passage of play, and it's starting to become very ominous for St George.
And just watch how effective North Sydney are at coming out of their own danger area. Strong charge here from Brenton Comrie, a new player for the Bears. I don't think they've made a mistake coming out of this part of the ground so far in this match. Now Josh Stewart, that's 3 tackles, already 42 out from their own line. And it won't be long before a kick comes in either from Mark Soden or Jason Taylor.
So they've made the halfway line as they reach the kick on this set of 6. And that could well be described as the perfect set of 6. Started back on their own line and finished almost with the mandatory 10-metre scrum on the other end of the ground. Saints then to work it away. Can they do as well as North Sydney, given a similar set of circumstances? This is their 2nd tackle, and Mundine 18 metres out now from his line. That's his captain, Coyne. Looked on his outside, but he lost his winger. Ricky Walford is on that right wing. Kevin Campion has gone on for St George. That's him playing it. Thompson. He has worried North Sydney, young Lance Thompson, probably more than any other player in the St George side, as they roll it over the 20-metre line for the scrum to get us going again. 14-0 in favour of the Bears. Breeze behind them in the first half. Taylor and David Hall. Intriguing little piece of refereeing there. Mark Oaten waved St George's backs to get back outside the 5 until the ball had come from the scrum. All but Tony Mundine retired. He made the tackle on David Hall and no penalty was given.
That was great hands from Matt Sears. Put under a little bit of pressure. North Sydney really looking to keep the ball alive. Sears cleaned up now by Damien Smith.
David Hall attempting a kick in general play out of ruck half, and that succeeds for him. So just outside the 20-metre line, St George's end.
He's a very talented player, David Hall. Now he has gone on to representative honours, but in many people's eyes, I still think he's underrated. He's more than just a quick winger.
St George with Adrian Brunker being used so often coming out of that corner on the first play. Thompson having his head sat back. And now, I think that is Felch. 17 is Campion. Hardy. Through to Goldthorpe. Bartram. Taylor's tackle was effective, and now a penalty will go to St George.
That's one that St George desperately needed. It was late in the tackle count. In fact, it may have been the last coming up. Really cardinal sin to give away a penalty there. David Hall appealing that he did nothing wrong. David Fairley replaced by Craig Wilson for the Bears.
Saints coming down the blind side with Quinn and Adrian Brunker. 10 metres out now, St George desperate for points in front of half-time. Mundine working with Bartram. Trouble there for David Hall. Mundine pushes it on through Stone. Campion now. 3 metres out from the line. Mundine, a long pass for Goldthorpe. Back on the inside. Hardy is with it. 5 tackles gone, 10 metres out from the line. Goldthorpe. Now for Mundine, he chances the kick. And it's allowed to go over the dead ball line. Sears is coming back at the gallop to get started.
Oh, they're on fire, North Sydney. They are on their game. 3 players there to shepherd that kick over the dead ball line, and then it was a race back to get play started.
Here's Billy Moore with a bust. Goes inside, picks up Brett Dallas. Dallas pulled down about 35 metres out. Soden, Taylor. Sound of the whistle brings the North Sydney penalty. Danny Williams, incidentally, is on for the Bears in 15.
And a little bit of a set 2 between a couple of players. Mark Soden involved. It's Danny Williams playing the football over the top of Kevin Campion. Mark Soden, a little bit of frustration from Wayne Bartram. Soden threw 1 and then Bartram threw 3. I'm not quite sure who finished on top there, Ray.
I think I would have preferred to have been Wayne Bartram somehow.
Well, it all depends on which way the penalty's going to go, I would have. Well, it's already gone to North Sydney, so...
Well, Bartram smiling like he won.
I don't think he'll be smiling when he turns around and looks at the scoreboard in a moment that says 16, Mel.
So Taylor will take the kick. right in front. And half-time not all that far away. Nathan Brown, who has been in the spotlight off the field, takes the place of Jeff Hardy. Some people are of the belief that Nathan Brown could be a wild card for the New South Wales State of Origin. I find that rather hard to believe, but anyway, that's their opinion. Taylor then from right in front, just inside the 20-metre line, and a further 2 points. You don't give him a chance from in front. 16-0, his side in front.
Penalty goal successful by the captain Jason Taylor, number 7. Jason Taylor, sponsored by the Flower Factory. 4-4 today for Jason Taylor. Citibank Bank 16, St George 0.
So Bartram it is that starts for St George one more time, and Larson, we could almost show you 4 starts to play and it would be an exact replica.
Well, the Bears just aren't giving St George an opportunity, and that's why they're sailing along so nicely. This is the 3rd tackle. Craig Wilson drops the hip. You see another forward lining up somewhere. Here comes Billy Moore now. He makes the charge. And again, you'll get a kick in at the end of this and no mistakes.
And it's very hard to counter a team when they're playing as safe as all this. Ben Ikin's run is good. The support was there. It's Matt Sears. He gets a pass inside. Billy Moore away from Williams. On for Buettner. Here comes the double. He gets his second. He gets his second. Michael Buettner. 20 points to 0.
And put that one down as the best try you've seen all season. And it'll take a good one to beat it for the remainder of the year. Great football here. Look at the hands here from Ikin. That's a tough take in these conditions. Then the footwork. He straightens up through the middle of the St George ruck. Mundine catches him from behind. The referee's right in line with that pass. Matt Sears, as he's so good at doing, supporting. Billy Moore, the basketball pass. Danny Williams on to Buettner. He's still got 2 players on the outside who he could have passed to score as well. This man set it up with great hands. Ben Ikin still had the strength to get his arms free, and Matty Sears on the fly. Through another tackle. St George really having problems containing the ball movement from the Bears. He finds Billy Moore. Rapid fire here from Moore. He knows that he's about to be claimed by Walford. And then Danny Williams. Copybook ball out to Michael Buettner. He sets sail for the line.
This should be good photographics, or whatever you call it. Michael Buettner straight down the lens. Thank you, Michael.
No, it's a rough head. I can say that. He is a former teammate.
Yes, you have reminded us a couple of times that he formerly is from Parramatta.
After today's result in Auckland, we'd be wishing they still had him.
The young North Sydney captain then. It's low, but it's going to get 2 points. Never mind about the gracefulness. The 2 points is there. Bears 22, Dragons nothing. This is reminiscent of a 9-iron gone wrong.
You'd know about them.
Shut up. I don't know whether Wayne Bartram thought that he would get this many restarts to play. Larson again. You don't even have to look. It'll be Gary Larson with the football.
Now Breton Pomeroy. The unfortunate thing for St George Ray is that they really haven't played that badly. They've looked dangerous at the other end, but the defence from North Sydney has just been rock solid. They haven't spilt that much football, the Dragons. It's just that the opposition are throwing everything at them, and they just keep coming.
Is there a sign of the times in the name Brenton Pomery? It sounds very much like a rugby union name, with due respects to the lad, but it certainly is a cultured name, isn't it? Are we at risk of being invaded?
No offence, but I'm glad Brenton's called Brenton,
and you're called Peter.
Exactly.
Well, finish off what you were saying. This is Campion, and the referee is going to penalise the Bears. In fact, we're talking about Brenton Pomery, and he's the offender.
Yeah, the arm coming up off the ball there. Only worthy of a penalty as Noel Goldthorpe finds touch in North Sydney's half, or on halfway. They really need to put something on the board here before half-time just to get some platform for the second 40 minutes.
Brown absolutely smashed into the ground. Bartram. Power of work for St George in a beaten side. Felch. "25 metres out from the North Sydney line. A line that hasn't been crossed yet. Mundine and Coyne. Oh, that's a good tackle. Ben Aiken.
Well, that's why it hasn't been crossed as Mundine kicks into centre field. Matt Sears. Great speed, good chase here from Walford, but Sears, well, he did make it into the field of play and has managed to remain there.
It's a classic appeal. Watch this. Sears is in the field of play, then Mark Coyne forces him back. But then when Sears gets up, he won't play the ball because he says to the referee, "Make him leave me alone." And after Coyne left him alone, the first thing Sears did, having played the ball, was grab Mark Coyne. So that's the nature of the beast. Good stuff. 40 metres out now from the Bears line. Nathan Brown, he might have thought it might have been better off to still be on the sidelines after this. He copped Danny Williams. I think Williams got him with his head.
Well, Anthony Mundine has just come up with a cold knock-on from the scrum win. So instead of St George having the final throw of the dice in this first half, North Sydney might try and kick from the scrum win and make a foot race for Brett Dallas. Adrian Brunker thinks that might be the case. He's motioning to his fullback and far winger.
It's with Brunker, with Butner. And there's two North Sydney players on the ground. As Walford comes away with it, the touch judge has gone in from the bottom of the screen. Siren has sounded, but it's not over yet. Almost certainly will be a penalty to the Bears, and Jason Taylor will take the kick.
Well, Mark Coyne doesn't want to know anything about it. St George captain up there listening to the report from the touch judge. And not happy. There's the penalty, and here's another 2 points.
Take another look at this. Michael Butner with the ball now. Watch him after he kicks it. One of the chasers, not Michael Butner, but one of the chasers was taken out. And you can't do that. It's as simple as that. So Jason Taylor will raise the flags from right in front. The penalty given for a player being impeded, not in possession of the football, and North Sydney go to the break 24 points to nil in front. Welcome back, second half, and North Sydney enjoying this massive lead. 24 points to nil, made up of 3 tries and 6 goals by their captain. So it's going to take an almighty effort by the Dragons, and certainly at the same time it's going to need North Sydney to fall off their game. Walford now.
Well, there's the missed tackles and way too many for St George. Kevin Campion takes the ball almost to the halfway line. Just wonder whether half-time will be the worst thing that happened to North Sydney. They were going along so nicely, they didn't want the break. St George will come out with some renewed vigour and hope to get some early points. As Nathan Brown finds Damien Smith, chance out wide, but the pass goes astray to Adrian Brunker.
The referee ordering the turnover now. Back on the North Sydney 20-metre line. Interested to see what happened back there, and the referee obviously didn't rule a knock on. Or did he? And he didn't call it up until he saw the St George player trying to play the ball. That's in fact what happened, I'm told. Inside pass, finding Billy Moore. Taken to ground by Felch, Luke Felch. Most of the replacements prior to half-time are still on there. Nathan Brown, Luke Felch, to name 2. Kevin Campion is still on there as well. This is Chris Quinn, the fullback. David Hall, I notice, is still on the bench, having been stitched up. Colin Ward. Campion met there by Larson. And Stewart goes in to make doubly sure of the tackle. St George 45 metres away from the Bears line with Felch. And this is their last tackle. Brown out from dummy half, rolls it down into the corner, but Sears, and again smart play by him, submitting, realising the greasiness of the ground, could have seen him forced back into the in goal.
Nathan Brown looking to come up with some similar efforts to that of Mark Soden in the first 40 minutes. Kicking from dummy half for his chasers. North Sydney now, as they've done so well, moving the ball out of their own danger area. Looks like Matt Toshak playing the football. Mark Soden, a great run here, picks up 7 or 8 metres. And now the last tackle.
Taylor, his kick quite low, unintentional, and Quinn met by the chase. The chase, well, the kick is only made as good as it is by the chase, and North Sydney have done that today. Quite impressed with Michael Buettner's performance today. He's been very intense.
Well, I think Buettner, along with Ben Ikin and Mark Soden, have been North's best in the team that hasn't had one ordinary performer. Ben Ikin's performance has been outstanding, and Mark Soden has just done some great things around the middle of the ruck.
David Barnhill, 30 metres out now from the Bears line. Goldthorpe, high kick. They're all onside, the Dragon chases, but Sears, he was down at the back of the pack and never took his eyes from it. Billy Moore.
All the way, fellas, let him go, good stuff. Well done, well done. Number 16 coming back on the
Stewart. Smothered out of the play by a Bartram tackle, and now they come back on the blind side with David Hall. Soden. tries to beat the marker, but Barnhill stays alert. Taylor again. Taken a tad late by Goldthorpe, who realised that and actually in back play picked Taylor up off the ground.
Well, this is a fairly tough call here against Matt Toshack. Really looked as though the St George player fell into the tackle, in fact lost his footing completely. Chris Quinn going across, trying to get on the outside. He slips, and I just can't see how the North Sydney player can be penalised for that. Quinn has slipped straight into the arm. An unfortunate incident, but I don't think there was any premeditated stuff from the man that was penalised.
No, I think you're right. It's almost a case of throwing your head at somebody's arm, isn't it? St George then on the better side of the penalties, but very much the wrong side of the scoreboard. Colin Ward is tackled on the halfway line as Brown pushes it through Goldthorpe for its eventual carrier, which is Luke Felch. Bartram. I mentioned earlier he was very strong in St George's performance, though at the moment a beaten side, but he has been quite prominent. Mundy. Coy channels back in diagonally. Goldthorpe comes onto it. Now Felch, and then across for Ward. He's been able to unload, but it's gone loose.
Well, again, good football from both sides there. Promising attack from the Dragons. Desperate defence from North Sydney. Luke Felch getting the ball away to Colin Ward. Popped out the back to Campion. He couldn't get the pass away, and Craig Wilson there to clean up. The scrum will now be packed, and it is a St George feed.
So is this the moment we've been waiting for? Well, for St George fans, in from the back, the full back, and Damien Smith.
Well, that play was just never unfolding. It looked as though that nobody knew what was happening here. Trying to put on 2 second man plays, Mundine going across. It's just all very pedestrian, very slow. Almost a shepherd here, and then Damien Smith, he stopped once or twice before he's received the football, and when he did, he had 3 players in front of him.
I think there might have been more than a hint of one shepherd, rather a couple of shepherds. But you're quite right, it fell apart. Unbelievable. This is Craig Wilson. 40-metre line underneath him as he plays it for Soden. They go down the blind side, Sears. And that's David Hall, and he's picked up and driven by Ricky Walford. Dropped onto the boot by Craig Wilson, finding touch. Did it find touch? It has now. Came to rest on the sideline.
He really adds a new dimension to North Sydney as David Hall is ceremoniously backslammed by Ricky Walford. This is the end of Craig Wilson's kick. Whenever he comes on, you can just see that there are a couple more options in the North Sydney side. He's used well by coach Peter Louis. He's starting to get a little bit tired in the opposition defence. That's when Craig Wilson will come in and cause a bit of havoc.
David Fairley has not been on the field in the second half. He's about to come back into the game. Fairley about to come on. Felch just inside their own 30-metre line. Barnhill, his pass finding Campion. Colin Ward. almost to the halfway line. 5 tackles have gone. Mundine with that confident pick-up. And then a stabbing kick. Nigel Roy, will he get back into the field of play? He does.
He was getting plenty of raps early in the year, filling in the fullback role. And that was a tremendous effort there. He had no right to get back in the field of play, Nigel Roy, especially confronted by Mark Coyne, one of the best defenders in the centres. Picks the ball up, confronted by Coyne. Coyne going in, somehow got the big fend out, and then drove through to get into the field of play through 3 St George chasers.
Having said all of that, I don't know that there was much communication between Mundine and the players on the right of the ground. It was very much a piece of ad-lib football. As Taylor's kick comes down very close to the sideline, or to the sideline, and Quinn put down on the 30-metre line.
And again, North Sydney's tactics are very good in these conditions. They're obviously running into a breeze in this second half. First half prepared to put the long kicks down and find open spaces. Now they're just drilling the ball low, making it difficult for the St George players to get to it quickly and getting a good chasing team. Not trying to put the ball up high and have the wind blow it back to them.
45 metres away from the North Sydney line. St George pressing and probing, looking for the gap. It has not been presented. Scoreboard 24 points to 0 in favour of the Bears. 20-metre tap. Mark Soden at dummy half. As they so often do, they take that first play down the blind side. Wilson. Lights turned on at North Sydney Oval now. At least a couple of banks of them. Michael Butner trailing through on David Fairley. Michael already the scorer of 2 tries. Taylor, last tackle, and it finished up with Williams, and Walford's pass, a very dangerous one. Mark Soden made the tackle, but Chris Quinn will be not very thankful of Ricky Walford, I don't think. How that ball finished up with Danny Williams, well, obviously, it might have been a case of mistaken identity out there.
The good thing for North Sydney, though, was the fact that Danny Williams knew it was the last tackle. We've seen stages through this season, the ball going to the wrong person on the last tackle and resulting in a handover. At least Williams knew he had to get his boot to the ball. As Brown, a good kick here.
What a kick! What a bounce! Smith finding Brunker, but Dallas rounds him up so quickly. Turnover, but the adroitness of the kick from Nathan Brown.
Yeah, tremendous work here. Perfect kick. Smith here confronted by Sears, and then the speedster, Brett Dallas, mowing down Adrian Brunker from behind.
We've got a North Sydney player, David Hall, in a bit of trouble. That is Williams. It's a stitching job on David Hall's forehead. Looks like it might need some renovations. Taylor running to the line, and then Billy Moore succumbing to the defence. 5 tackles gone for the Bears. To the right for Taylor to go on. Fairly for Butner, for Aiken. Aiken's got Dallas on his outside. He uses the kick. The ball goes loose. The Bears have got it again, I think.
Good option on the last tackle there from North Sydney. Jason Taylor looked as though he was going to kick the previous play. He ran it then. Beautiful hands from Buettner. Eichen running onto the football, chipping over the top of Brunker. Mundine leading the chase, but he couldn't get it. It was a bad bounce. And then a scramble there. Eventually Eichen picked up the football. But St George now have received a penalty to relieve pressure. And they do so out to the 20-metre line.
Colin Ward used as the ramrod on the first occasion. Kevin Campion. Scrappy old play the ball. Bartram. Bootlace tackle by Taylor. And then Mark Coyne. Taken by Billy Moore, turning it back. And it is Bartram again. Brown trying to suck a penalty there. Mundy through the hands. Walford held it back. Coyne back now. Buettner looking for it for North Sydney. Nigel Roy has got it. Certainly not the organised cohesion that we've seen a couple of times from St George this year. Williams over the halfway, taken down by Damien Smith. 45 metres away from the St George line. And the Bears leading 24 points to nil. Rolling down the hill at the moment. Dallas. Taylor calling it. Taylor behind Fairley. Moore did well under pressure. Knocked down by St George. 6 more back on the 30-metre line. Played there by Trindle. Now it is David Fairley. They're 20 metres out. Wilson. Taylor. Oh, angled run by Billy Moore. Pulled down 10 metres out from the line.
Oh, great play the ball for Mark Soden.
Soden's over. Soden's over to score.
And thoroughly deserves the try, but he'll know that it was set up by the run of Billy Moore and the quick play the ball. You got the feeling that St George were just hanging on. That's the end of a 15-metre burst by Billy Moore. And look at the speed of the play the ball. The marker still getting back in the line. Mark Soden scooting out of dummy half. Lance Thompson, David Barnhill, they can't stop him. And eventually the ball gets put down. Colin Ward here just got a piece of the jersey of Mark Soden. It wasn't enough. And the little hooker has been absolutely outstanding this afternoon. Changes direction over the top of Lance Thompson. Carries Barnhill. He doesn't get it down on the first instant, but there it is now.
So Mark Soden gets the 4th try for North Sydney. 2 for Buettner, 1 for Eichen, 1 for Soden. In fairness to young Thompson, he lost his footing and it made it a lot easier for Soden to get it over. Look at this goal-kicking record for Taylor, particularly this year, and he keeps it going. 30 points to nothing now. North Sydney over the Dragons. Soden, young Thompson, see the red-headed boy, he lost his footing. I wonder whether he would have scored had that not have happened. $10,129 here, watching the Bears, enjoying their afternoon. Not quite that much now, but the issue beyond any doubt.
Well, that's about the second mistake they've made in the game, and Mark Soden, just a little knock on there before offloading. And very, very rare from the Bears this afternoon. Just
looking at the error total. We have got the Bears down for just 2 as Mark Coyne tries to buff it through Michael Butner. Cross now for Goldthorpe and then for Mundine. Fairley and Trindle combining to pull the youngster down. Brown now finding Troy Stone. Stone refusing to take the tackle. Brown, Campion. Got it, get it back for Nathan Brown. Brown's about 3 metres from the line. Stone is on the right. Goldthorpe wants it on the left. The dummy half tries to do it. So the 5th tackle now. Goldthorpe rolls it in, put over the dead ball line by the Bears.
Well, St George are out of this match, but they're still trying their best through to the final whistle. Goldthorpe deliberately kicking back towards Chris Quinn, the chaser. And Matt Sears, as he's done all day, just taking the right option.
Saints then will get it back. And Goldthorpe sending David Barnhill back to the defence line. Walford, Goldthorpe, and then Colin Ward, I think. Troy Stone, in fact. Now Campion. Stone and Barnhill. Brown, long pass on the half volley. Goldthorpe pushing on. Mundine away. Dallas off his wing. There's a channel down there. Smith's pass goes to ground. And it is a knock-on, according to the referee.
There's a glimmer of a chance on the left-hand side after Brett Dallas came in on Lance Thompson, wasn't able to stop the pass being thrown. Damien Smith got the ball back inside. Unfortunately, Adrian Brunker was forced to hurdle Ben Eichen. He wasn't able to take the pass.
So North Sydney ruck it away from their own 10-metre line, and Butner again lining up at 5/8.
That's worked very nicely for North Sydney this afternoon. It's almost as though David Hall, Ben Eichen and Michael Butner have alternated between 5/8 and centre. And one needed a break, they've pushed somebody out. It's really been a good effort on all of those players in wanting to get involved in this match.
Steve Trindle. David Hall. Now the last tackle. Ball will head to the magnet. And Jason Taylor's kick down on his own line. Chris Quinn totally recovered from what I thought was an accidental high tackle on him earlier. He's okay now. Ricky Walford. Oh gee, I've given Ricky Walford plenty of raps over a period of time, but he's had an ordinary one today.
Big blind side here. You wonder whether Matt Sears will look to get involved down the short side, as he does now. They've closed it up well, St George.
So they again come to this blind side. Now, Trindle taken down on the 10-metre line. Taylor's got his troops mustered on the right. Sears looming in the back, looking for the inside pass. Butner's 8 metres away. They come back to the left. And a run around by Soden with Craig Wilson. 5 tackles gone, 5 metres out. Taylor's kick is... Oh! I think he's made it in time for number 3. Michael Butner.
Well, Michael Butner's obviously been dirty on the fact that Ben Eichen had 7 tries coming into this match. He's got 3 this afternoon. was precision kick. No doubt that Buettner's onside. Lance Thompson, Noel Goldthorpe, they can't foot it with Buettner. And it's a hat-trick. And perfect timing from the chase as well. See Lance Thompson, he couldn't turn and chase. Goldthorpe really only reacted very late, and it was just the fact that Buettner wanted to get to the football more than the other chasers.
Beautifully weighted by Jason Taylor. Michael Buettner gets 3 for the day. Taylor converts, and North Sydney 36 points to 0. Sending the statisticians back, looking for the previous highest victory by North Sydney over a St George side. Restart again by the Dragons. Done that basically all day. Gary Larson. This is Williams, another of the relatively small forwards who plays well above his weight. Taylor, Buettner. Cut out pass for Dallas. Dallas is flying down the right flank. Still going. Pulled down desperately by Smith. Not held. 2 metres out. Penalty. He had been called on to play it, apparently.
I think the referee got this one right. I think he was tackled, Brett Dallas, looking to get to his feet. Great ball here from Michael Buettner. A cut-out pass. Adrian Bunker was committed. Brett Dallas, he looked inside to see if the pass was on. He beat Chris Quinn, tackled from behind. And yeah, the tackle was affected by Damien Smith.
Number 5 coming up for the Dragons, Jason Donnelly, replacing Ricky Walker.
Penalties. 6-2 in favour of the Dragons as they prepare to take the tap through David Barnhill. Colin Ward.
It's Jason Donnelly back on. Hasn't played much role in this game. See, he's got his left knee fairly heavily strapped. St George go wide. Kevin Campion standing out in the centres. Almost makes it to the halfway line.
Stay wide, Tosh, stay wide, Tosh.
Troy Stone now on the blind side. Again, the defence is good.
Yeah, Tosh. Engineer, Tosh. Good hit, Danny.
Campion running into a good tackle from Williams. It looked as though he lost it, but obviously the touch judge felt that there was no knock on, otherwise he would have called to the man in the centre. Sears. He's just so immaculate in his work, Matt Sears. There's no sign of him becoming flustered. He has one prime purpose: keep your eyes on the ball and try and get a little bit side on if you can. Now they push it along. And another bust! Aiken this time! 5 metres from the halfway, but St George are struggling to get back in the line. Taylor angles back towards Brett Dallas's wing.
They'll need to find another kicker now. And that job taken over by Mark Soden, who just drills it down the short side, in behind Damien Smith. And that's just beautiful work, realising that the main kicker was playing the football. And Soden, he's got the thumbs up, and I'm sure that's what Peter Louis will give this performance this afternoon.
Adrian Brunker getting it out to the 20-metre line, and now they go further down the ground with Mark Coyne. He's out to the 30-metre line with Walford improving the position of the football. Stone and Ward at close quarters, and then well done. Back to Campion and then to Stone. Stone fending away, and then Goldthorpe for Barnhill. Barnhill showing it to Walford, taking it to ground under the tackles of Williams and Pomeroy. Now they keep going down the right of the ground with Goldthorpe. It all seems a bit congested though from St George. Nathan Brown rolls it down the ground and it's been well covered up by Matt Sears again. Hall running into Jeff Hardy and also Ricky Walford. 36 points to nil, and St George coming up with it with Pomeroy, the offender. Colin Ward shoveling it out for Mundine. They've been totally outplayed, which probably indicates that it's hard for an individual to stand out, and Mundine has been very much bottled up today.
Yes, he's been the man that's been the catalyst in the last couple of weeks. When you say that they've been outplayed, you've got to say that St George have played as well as they've been allowed.
Western Suburbs 18, lead for another 10, and Manly 14.
Well, the zest there for St George just hasn't been there. Wonder how much that performance against Brisbane took it out of them.
Sears standing in the back line in expectation of winning the scrum, and he therefore is the first man to play it. Now Billy Moore, as they keep a fairly high ratio of doing things right, keep it uppermost in their performance today. The simple things they've done well, even the more difficult things they've done at times brilliantly.
In these conditions, the handling has been absolutely superb in this game, especially from the winners. Jason Taylor, little chip, a little bit of a mix-up between Goldthorpe and Ricky Walford, saw the ball bounce. Now Adrian Brunker overruns the football. Lance Thompson, the step off the left foot, taken high by Billy Moore. Not long to go in this game.
Well, Sydney supporters can add this thought to their memory of this win today, in the memory that Greg Florimo hasn't been part of it. They've been promising for the last few years to do it, the Bears. I wonder, is this the year?
Never had a doubt about their toughness, but if anything, Ray, they look a little bit tougher this year. As that pass came off a North Sydney player, cleaned up by Trindle. I just think there's a little bit more mongrel in their defence. We saw that early in this match. Fairley and co were hitting very, very hard, and I just feel as though that the balance of the team is so much better this year as well. As a mistake there with Dallas on the wing, more strike power. Eichen and Butner have been very astute buys, and they've got a little bit of depth in the forwards now, especially with this interchange rule being very important.
The exception of David Hall, they have a very young backline. Troy Stone.
Maybe the most important thing, Ray, I think, is that there's more options out there for them. Now these days, if you mark Jason Taylor, they'll be able to do something elsewhere. In the past, I don't think that's been the case. They've relied too much on him. I don't think they do so now. With St George through Damien Smith.
Stay down, stay down.
Still can't find a crack in this defence on the last tackle.
They come back now for Goldthorpe. Knowles' kick goes across the contest. Raked back by St George. North Sydney turn, defence into attack, and away he goes! Away goes Matt Sears on a 70-metre gallop. Exhibition gallop, really. And that brings up the 40.
And a great effort there from Billy Moore, I think, is the man. St George claiming there was a knock on. There was, but it was by their team. And Billy Moore was able to clean up. The kick from Goldthorpe. There you see Billy Moore in the foreground. Matt Toshak comes off Lance Thompson. There's Billy Moore in the right place at the right time. He picks it up, turns around and finds Matt Sears. And one of the best sights in rugby league. I think it's quite obvious that he's a favourite player of mine. Out of the clutches of Adrian Brunker. And the youngster, Rookie of the Year. Sets off on a 70-metre hike to the try line.
If you're an admirer of this boy, Peter, then you would have also been an admirer of the classic Canterbury player, Les Johns. Well, so many similarities. So Jason Taylor's day at the office is almost complete. Continues to bolster his record. He enjoyed that. George hoping to get the ball back. They did. Worked perfectly for them. Jeff Hardy, Brown, Felch to the 20-metre line. Trindle makes the tackle together with Pomeroy. Brown, they go left under the blind. Hardy to give up a short pass for Stone. Hardy again. Brown now, first receiver. Through to Mundine, on for Goldthorpe. And then it's Thompson. A busy day, this replacement, Kevin Campion. Another of the young St George Dragons, as Goldthorpe's attempt at chip kick is fielded by Ben Ikin, who then is dragged back into the in goal.
Pretty strong tackle, this one. Good take from Ikin. Then Colin Ward, fortunately, all in the one motion, was able to get the centre back in the in goal area.
North Sydney then doing to St George what they, a couple of minutes ago, did to them. A bumping run by Pomeroy, 30 metres away from his own line. Last few minutes of this match with Craig Wilson now. Williams through to Fairley. Fairley's pass, there's no doubt in my mind, had it been accurate, would nearly have led to a North Sydney try. They were lining up over here on the right.
Go.
From Brunker into Mundine. Mundine away from Buyutna, pulled down from behind by Ikin. 20-metre line, Hardy to the right, lost by Coyne, regained by St George, but he will play the knock-on, I believe, against Mark Coyne. It's interesting to see whether Mark Coyne actually gets his foot to this ball before it hits the ground. The ball is dropped. No, the ball actually hits the ground before he strikes it with the foot. North's winning the scrum then. And that is David Hall. Pomery. Williams. Fairley. Soden. Taylor. Three of the Dragons combining to put the North Sydney captain away. Wilson gets his kick in before being hit by Mark Coyne. One of the decoys, Craig Wilson, for Jason Taylor in the kicking area. Scrum will barely have time to pack. Siren in the background now as the ball is batted along the line. Damien Smith down the left of the ground, kicks into the centre. North Sydney there to clean it up. So at full time, the Bears have registered one of their biggest wins ever over St George. 42 points to nothing. $42 points to nil. And 6 tries in total. Michael Butner scored 2 tries. 3 tries, I should say. Eichen, Soden and Sears scored tries. And there's the man of the match. Just obscured for a moment, Michael Butner. The Optus man of the match, Michael Butner. 9 out of 9 for Jason Taylor. And 42 points to nil. The Bears over St George. So we'll leave you now from North Sydney Oval. Hope you've enjoyed it. And of course we'll resume our coverage again next Friday night. But from North Sydney, on behalf of Peter, it's good afternoon, everybody.